If you're making 5 figures in your courses business and you cannot figure out why you feel stuck, I need you to hear this. It's not because you need a better course. It's not because the algorithm changed, and it is not because your audience is too small. It might be because you're still running your business the way you ran it when you were just getting started. And the hard truth, the exact habits that got you here, the hustling, the constant creating, the doing everything yourself energy, those might be the very things that's keeping you here. Today, I want to talk to you through 4 things that I think separate 5-figure course businesses from a 6-figure one. And I have a feeling that at least one of them is going to hit close to home. So let's get into it. Hello and welcome to today's episode. I want you to tell me if this sounds familiar. You worked your tail off to build an audience. You showed up consistently. You created content. You gave a lot of value for free over and over and over again until people started paying attention. Then you started building your email list, and lo and behold, people actually wanted to hear from you. You're seeing 30% or more of them opening your emails, which honestly feels amazing. Then you figured out how to create a course. Maybe you bought a lot of courses yourself to learn how to do it. Maybe you pieced it together through sheer determination, and maybe with a few YouTube tutorials. Either way, by some miracle, you built the thing. You launched the thing, and people bought the thing. And you're proud of that. You should be. You hit somewhere between $10,000 and $30,000 in a launch, and when you zoom out and look at your year, you realize you're getting close to that elusive first 6-figure mark. But here's where it gets complicated. Because at the same time, you feel proud of what you've built. There's this nagging question you can't shake. How on earth do I grow this big enough that I can actually do this full time? How do I get to the point where I can finally quit my job and finally stop taking on more one-on-one clients just to make the numbers work? You've proven the concept. You know your offer works. But something about the way you're running things right now feels like it has a ceiling on it. And you're right. It does. But here's the good news. That ceiling is not permanent. It's not a talent problem or a market problem. It's an operating system problem. And operating systems can be upgraded. I've been running ads for course creators for almost 10 years, and I've spent millions in ad budget to help course creators grow. I've been behind the scenes of businesses at every single stage, from the very first launch all the way to 7 and multi-7 figures. And I can tell you, the gap between 5 figures and 6 figures almost never comes down to the course itself. It comes down to how the business around the course is being run. So today, I want to share 4 shifts with you. These aren't things I'm making up. They're patterns I've seen play out hundreds of times. And I reckon at least a couple of them are maybe going to feel very familiar. Okay, shift number 1. And I want you to be really honest with yourself here. Have you ever had a launch that went okay, not amazing, but okay, and instead of figuring out how to make that same launch work better next time, you thought, maybe I should create something new. Maybe a mini course should come before this. Or maybe a membership is easier to sell. Maybe a workshop on a slightly different angle. Something fresh that might be the thing that finally takes off. Be honest. I reckon a lot of you are possibly nodding right now. And I have definitely been guilty of this. And I have so many half-finished projects in my Google Drive I'm embarrassed to admit it. I call this the shiny course trap. And I know it so well because thanks to my beautiful ADHD brain, I've been there too. It feels productive, right? You're creating, you're building, you're putting something new into the world. It feels like progress. But here's what's actually happening. Every time you go back into creation mode, you're pulling all your time and energy away from the offer that was already working, the one that people were buying, the one that was getting results. And that offer just sits there, gathering dust, while you pour months into building the new next thing. So here's what I want you to think about instead. What if the answer isn't a new course? What if the answer is getting your existing course in front of more people? Better sales page, better email sequence, a proper funnel, maybe some paid traffic so that qualified people are seeing your offer every single day, not just during your launch week. You don't need 5 offers to hit 6 figures. You really don't. You need one offer that works and a system that puts it in front of new people consistently. That's it. I wonder if you remember my client, Laura Barnard. I had her here on the show in episode 309, where we talked about how she went from 3K to 13K when she worked with us in the agency. Laura, too, had a few offers, but when she doubled down on her best offer, she was able to 10x her revenue. And the best is, she emailed me recently, and I want to read you what she told me because it's so good. She said, I did a big marketing push, all organic, from November to December 31. The push was for people to enroll with the 2025 pricing before it goes up January 1st. I sold out the March course, filled up half of April, and got a start on May course seats. Then I updated the sales page to reflect the new increased price. And of course, on January 2nd, I was feeling the doubt of, should I have raised my prices? And then, boom, someone purchased at the new updated price. I just love that story so much. So if you're sitting there right now with 3 or 4 different offers and none of them are really getting the attention they deserve, can I challenge you to pick one? Pick the one that's already proven itself and go all in on scaling that one. You might be surprised how much simpler everything gets. Okay, number 2. And again, honesty time. Think about your last launch. If it didn't hit the number you were hoping for, what did you do next? Did you sit down, pull up the data, and figure out exactly where people dropped off? Or did you think, that didn't really work. I need to try something completely different next time. If it's the second one, you are not alone. I see this so often and I get it. It's a totally human response. When something doesn't go the way we want it, our instinct is to move away from it. Try a new angle, a new webinar, a video series, a boot camp, a challenge, a new lead magnet, start fresh. But here's what I want you to consider. A launch that brought in $8,000 or $10,000 is a spectacular success. It is not failure. It's data, really valuable data, but only if you actually look at it. So instead of scrapping everything and starting over, what if you asked yourself some different questions? Like, was my webinar well attended? If yes, great. Your lead magnet and your ads are working. The problem might just be in the pitch. Did people open my emails? If the email rates were low, that's a subject line problem, not a nobody wants my course problem. Did people click through to the sales page but not buy? That's a sales page issue, not an overall offer or product issue. When you change everything after a launch, you lose all the compounding benefit of what you already built, what's already working. The audience data, the email sequences, the landing pages, all of that goes to waste. But when you keep the foundation and just improve the weak spots, That's where the magic happens. I used to have a student when I had the membership who would come up with a new offer for a new course every time her launch didn't go as planned. Over the few years she worked with me, we must have created 10 different courses and 10 different group coaching programs because she kept offering her list a new course or program. In hindsight, I can see that the problem was that her email list stayed the same. She wasn't actively growing her list, and she only really consistently emailed them when she was lining up an offer. So, can you blame them for not really feeling the love? She kept offering them new ways to work with her, without considering that she needs some new people on that list that are warm and primed for just one offer that she can make well. So next time a launch doesn't hit your target, I want you to resist the urge to blow it all up. Instead, grab a cup of coffee, open up your numbers, and play detective. Figure out what actually worked. Then do the same launch again, but do it better. This is the difference between a business that stays at 5 figures and one that compounds its way to 6 figures. All right, number 3. And I have a feeling this one might sting a little. I want you to think about everything you did in your business this week. All of it. The content creation, the emails, the customer support, the social media scheduling, the graphic design, the tech troubleshooting, the bookkeeping, the strategy, the sales. How much of that list actually required you, your brain, your expertise, your voice, and how much of it was stuff that, honestly, someone else could do? Because here's what I see happen a lot, and I say this with so much love. You're not running your business like a CEO. You're running it like a chief everything officer, and that's a very different job. And look, I get why. When it's your business, your baby, your reputation on the line, it feels safer to do everything yourself. It's faster if I just do it. Nobody else will do it the way I want it done. I have said both of those sentences more times than I can count. But here's the maths that changed my thinking on this. When you spend 3 hours formatting emails and scheduling social posts, that's 3 hours you didn't spend on strategy, on sales, or on creating the content that actually brings in the audience and the revenue. You're trading $500 an hour work for $20 an hour work. And that trade is costing you way more than hiring help ever would. Now, I know that some of you are thinking, Salome, I'm not at the point where I can hire someone yet. And maybe that's true right now. But here's what you can do today. Start documenting everything. Every time you do a repeatable task, use AI to help you create a simple SOP for it, a step-by-step process that lives outside of your head so that when you're ready to hand things off, whether that's to a VA, a contractor, or even an AI tool, you're not spending weeks trying to explain what you do. It's already written down. One of my lovely mentoring students, Stephanie, and I have been doing a lot of this in the last 6 months. Steph homeschools her kids and she runs her business. And it's really important to her that her kids and her family's well-being comes first. This was easier when she had someone else taking care of a lot of admin and running her podcast and scheduling her emails and so on, until that person left and took with them all the knowledge of how to do these things. Now look, Steph is a smart cookie and she can figure it out quickly. But that did mean that she found herself doing more and more work during those valuable family hours. So we've been focusing a lot on doing something once, making a Loom video of what she did, and then uploading the Loom video to ChatGPT and asking the AI to help her turn it into a simple SOP. Now, she can hire as much or as little help as she needs, and as long as she can give them her SOP, she knows the work is getting done the way she would do it, all while she's out watching her kids play sports. So here's my challenge to you this week. Every time you sit down to do a task, ask yourself one question. Does this actually require me? If the answer is no, document it. Get it out of your head. Even if you don't hand it off tomorrow, you're building the infrastructure for a business that can eventually run without you being in every single seat. It's a great habit to start from day one. Number 4, and this is the one that I think almost every course creator goes through at some stage, and I have definitely gone through this one before. How does your content creation process work right now? And I mean, really, not the aspirational version, the actual version. Are you posting when you feel inspired and going quiet when you're busy? Are you on Instagram and TikTok and maybe you started a podcast and you thought about YouTube, but you've only uploaded a couple of videos? If that's you, I want you to know there's absolutely no judgment here. I think most of us have been in that place where we're trying to be everywhere because it feels like that's what we're supposed to do. But can I share something that might take some of the pressure off? Inconsistent content on 5 platforms will always lose to consistent content on just one. Always. So here's what I'd love for you to think about. What if instead of trying to show up everywhere, you chose one long-form platform as your home base? A podcast, a YouTube channel, a blog, somewhere you can go deep, share your expertise, and build real trust with your audience. And then you take that long-form content and you repurpose it into shorter pieces for social media. That's your amplification layer. It's not the strategy. It supports the strategy. And the other thing that will bring change to your life is batching. If you're creating content week by week on the fly, you're always going to feel like you're chasing your tail. But what if you blocked out one day a month or even one day a fortnight and knocked out 4 episodes or 4 videos or 4 newsletters in one sitting? Then you schedule them and you move on. For the rest of the month, your content is handled and you can focus on revenue producing activities. I can honestly say that having a content batching system in place has created so much peace and mental health well-being for me. It's nice to not have to feel that pressure of needing to feed the beast all the time. And if I batch the content for a month or so, I actually start to miss creating content, and I feel like my creative juices are flowing again when I get back into the next batch. This one shift, going from random acts of content to a simple batch system, is honestly one of the biggest unlocks I see for course creators who are trying to break through to 6 figures. Because suddenly, your content keeps working, even on the weeks when you're focused on launching or resting or just living your best life. Okay, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with something you can do right now. A little self-audit, if you want. 4 questions. And I want you to answer them honestly, not the aspirational answer, the real one. Question 1. Do you have one core offer that you're known for? Or are you spreading yourself across multiple products, hoping one of them takes off? Question 2. After your last launch, did you actually sit down and look at the data to figure out what worked and what didn't? Or did you just move on to the next idea? Question 3. If you looked at your calendar this week, what percentage of your time went to things that directly produce revenue? Selling, strategic content, optimizing your funnel versus admin, tech, and busy work. Question 4. If you went on a holiday for 2 weeks and completely unplugged, would your content still go out? Would leads still come in? Would sales still happen? Or does everything stop the moment you stop? If you're not thrilled with your honest answers, honestly, maybe that's a good thing, because you can't change a pattern that you haven't seen. And now you can see it. So let's bring it all together. If you want to build a 6-figure courses business, it starts with letting go of the 5-figure habits that got you here. 1. Pick your proven offer and go all in on scaling it instead of constantly creating something new. Number 2, stop blowing up your launch strategy every time and start optimizing what's already working. Number 3, get things out of your head. Document your processes and start making space for the work that only you can do. Number 4, build a consistent system that runs consistently, even when you're not in creation mode. None of this requires you to be a genius or to have it all figured out. It just requires you to make a decision to start operating differently. And honestly, the fact that you're listening to this episode tells me you're already ready for this, and you are this person. Now, if one of the things that's missing from your business right now is a traffic system, a way to get your course in front of new qualified people every single day without relying only on the algorithm being kind to you, then I want you to know that my program, Scale with Ads, is opening for enrollment on March the 5th. If you get on the waitlist before then, you'll get access to a special bonus that's only available to waitlist members. You can go to thelaunchlounge.com/waitlist, and I'll drop the link in the show notes so you can jump on that as well. And if this episode hit home for you, please do me a favor, hit that follow or subscribe button wherever you're listening. It's the number one way you can support the show, and it means that new episodes just land in your feed automatically so you don't miss anything. Next week, we're continuing this series on growth and scaling with episode number 342. You don't need more content. You need a traffic system. And I'll be sharing with you my complete content batching system so you can get your time back like someone who runs a freedom empire. See you next week. Bye.